Later than I'd like to get on here, but here we are. It is Coffee Talk on a Monday morning. It is January the 8th, and we are tracking a thunderstorm threat for tomorrow, a threat for strong to severe storms for tomorrow, and it's going to be an active day. But this morning, at least, we are looking good. There's a shot, the Orlando International Airport tower cam. Nice and quiet there. Let me take you over, though, to our first warning live Doppler radar. Already watching some showers marching through here in Marion County. Let me take you into about Ocala there. Just north of Ocala is where we're watching those showers. Lifting up 301. We'll be up to Fellowship and Anthony here shortly. Ocala Ridge, of course. And as we kind of loop this, you get the idea. Just light stuff marching on through. Definitely not a big deal. So we're going to be watching that for sure. Let me crank up my volume so you can hear me as I'm being quiet. So today, mostly cloudy skies. We'll watch for a few showers here or there. Temperatures out the door, 53 right now in the city. It's 48 degrees in Ocala, 59 Daytona Beach, and 50 degrees in DeLand. So where do we go in terms of the forecast today? Here you go. All right, 10% coverage of a few passing showers. It's not going to be a bad day at all. 67 by lunchtime, up to about 69 degrees 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. All right, this afternoon. And winds running about 5, 10, 15 miles an hour. Now, that said, as I'm talking to you, National Weather Service issues a wind advisory for Marion and Flagler for tomorrow. So we're getting into a position where we're going to be talking lots of winds. And while today we've got lots of clouds, we're going to be getting into thunderstorms tomorrow. So what's going on? What's the overall weather pattern? It's a fairly complex one, but essentially we've got this nice mild air mass over top of us, but a storm system already firing up out west. And that storm system is going to be gradually working our direction more and more and more. And by tomorrow afternoon, as it arrives, there's going to be the threat for strong to severe storms in central Florida. The Storm Prediction Center has placed our entire area under either a level 2, highlighted in yellow, or level 3, highlighted in orange, risk for severe weather. The yellow, scattered storms. The orange is numerous strong to severe storms. And in that bottom left corner of your screen, you can already see the storm system getting its act together. So how does this time out? Well, let's take a look on our Futurecast model, okay? And we'll just roll through the day today, seeing a couple of those showers, right? There's 5 p.m., a few showers already moving through our area, but look to Louisiana. It's already going to be a pretty active radar picture, already a pretty active weather picture for our friends out that direction, okay? Let's continue this through time. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, squall line starts to develop. There's 5, 6 o'clock when we see on West News Sunrise Coffee Talk time tomorrow. We'll be watching that squall line. Notice the winds out ahead of it for us out of the south-southeast. That's going to help to warm our atmosphere up a little bit. That warming atmosphere is going to help to develop these showers and these thunder showers, right? And then as it works our direction, particularly later into the afternoon, there's 4 p.m., that line of storms marching through our area and then clearing out by about 8, 9, 10 o'clock or so. So yes, we've got the threat for severe weather tomorrow. But when we get into the actual breakdown, I think that this is something I want to spend some time on here, okay? And the reason for it is because there's some complexity to this. So let's start off with the tornado risk. Level 1, level 2 risk for tornadoes around central Florida. But notice the damaging wind concerns for us. Level 2, level 3. All right, so essentially the winds are our biggest concern, followed by tornadoes, then rain and hail. Hail and rain are not really big concerns for us. But I also want you to notice on this graphic one other thing. Do you see the damaging wind section? Do you see those black lines that kind of go top to bottom? You don't see that very often. In the weather world, that's referred to as the hatched section, okay? The hatched section is the section that not only are we expecting a high probability of severe weather, but significant severe weather. In terms of tornadoes, that would indicate powerful EF3, EF4, EF5 tornadoes. In terms of damaging winds, it would be wind gusts of 70 miles an hour. They even refer to it as hurricane force wind gusts. So tomorrow, as this line moves in, significant damaging winds, straight line winds, a concern for us. All right? So that's where we're at. Do I see a Kenneth Otto signing on this morning? Kenneth, good morning, my friend. So glad to see you jumping in this morning. Mr. Kenneth Otto, you made my morning, buddy. Even if you're here just for a little bit. On a busy weather day, I got to stop and say good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, where's my charger? There it is. Okay. All right, so there's going to be an active weather day. But what about in your neighborhood? Let's do this, okay? Based on Futurecast, we'll start with Futurecast, and then we'll get into the actual forecast product, okay? So overnight tonight into tomorrow, we keep the clouds. Waking up tomorrow to mostly cloudy skies. And I will say, you see where 8:39 we start to see some sun shining through? This is going to be the big question mark. Do we get enough sunshine to continue to help destabilization? You'll know this because if it's sunny tomorrow, that's going to really help with thunderstorm and severe weather development. If we stay completely socked in tomorrow, that's going to help to suppress the severe threat. Okay, so that's going to be indicator number one. But either way, there's 2, 3 o'clock. There's that line of severe weather moving in into Marion County, Sumter County, around 3 o'clock. Getting into our metro, 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock. That's when you're getting that huge push of wind, torrential downpours. 6 o'clock into Brevard County, 6:30, 7 o'clock, clearing Brevard County, and then exiting by 8, 9 o'clock. So it's a pretty thin line. So at least in terms of duration, it's not going to be long. But in terms of impact, it will be impactful. And I think that that's important to note. Quick but fierce is basically where we're at, okay? So that's our Futurecast model, but looking at all the different models, they're not 100% in line with each other. So this is the forecast. This is our forecast. 2 to 5 are northern spots, 4 to about 7 in the metro, and 6 to 9 across our southern communities. That's kind of what we're looking at, okay, for the strong to severe storms to be around, okay? Questions, comments, concerns, a level 2 or level 3 risk for strong to severe storms. All right, I'm going to pause for a second, and we can have conversation. Kenneth is here, and that just made me so happy to see you. All right, Marie, good morning to you. Adrian, any chance of the hatched parts spreading to the Orlando area? In other words, is the forecast subject to... Absolutely, the forecast is subject to change. But when we look at our threat breakdown for tomorrow, damaging winds in red, that is absolutely the highest concern. Tornadoes, a medium concern, but I'll point out that the threat for tornadoes is such that any tornado that were to develop could get strong, and so that is less than ideal. And then hail and flooding rains, I'll show you the flooding rain section is also highlighted in green there, so it's on a lower level concern. Mr. Bob, yep, I'm working this morning. Kellyanne is a little below the weather, under the weather. Is that, how do you say it, under the weather? Under the weather. Under the weather, below the weather. What am I saying, moron? Kellyanne's a little under the weather, so yeah, popped in here and took care of it. Brian, is there any chance of a storm system getting weaker before it actually arrives in Florida? Is it too close to weaken? Well, I mean, it hasn't even quite developed yet. Like, look at the satellite and radar right now. Hold on a second. Here's the wide perspective, and this is kind of the shot that I have in the bottom corner, so I'll take that out for just a moment. But watch how over Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, look how quickly, I mean, that's wicked fast. In just the last 4 hours, that shield of moisture has started forming. Of course, out ahead of it, the storms, and then back behind it, the winter precipitation. So it's just starting to get its act together. So weekend, we're just watching it actually going through its own genesis. It hasn't done anything yet. So is it possible that it weakens? Sure. I mean, it's got to form first for us to get that idea. Okay, but you know, one of the reasons for concern is this is a product called the Updraft Helicity product. Okay, and you know, we oversimplify it on the air to call it like the tornado threat. But watch through time. All right, let's get through Monday, blah, 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 blah. But watch how through tomorrow, basically what you're looking at are the updrafts and the updrafts that are going to be able to take advantage of some of that spin. And you see those little updraft lines through our area, right? That's the computer model just pointing out that, yes, we've got that dynamical energy. And so because of that, you start getting into a situation where, yeah, this could be something. Now, I did have somebody send a snarky tweet this morning, but I actually loved it. The snarky tweet went something like, oh, so you mean it's going to be an afternoon storm? And I loved it because it's like, well, this gives me an opportunity to point out what's different between this setup and an afternoon thunderstorm setup. Okay, so first off, let's compare the differences. We've got moisture and we've got lift. Summertime, it may look a little different, but it's still the same kind of idea. A little bit of lift, a little bit of energy. But what's different is that this time of year, particularly in an El Nino scenario, you've got extra lift. There's a lot of wind upstairs. And we've been looking at those forecast sounding products together a lot here on Coffee Talk. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of that atmospheric energy. That wind upstairs. The National Weather Service went out and said that this is like the 99th percentile for their kind of 850 millibar to 700 millibar winds. 99th percentile for this time of year. That's, to me, that's a pretty significant thing. Don't see that very often. So for tomorrow, Evelyn, I think we're going to have a pretty decent opportunity for strong to severe storms. Bill says today's the first day of classes at UCF. Tomorrow I'm teaching. Hope I can finish my classes before this hits. For sure, my friend. Bill, text me if you have a question. I'll as long as I'm awake, I'll do my best to take care of it, unless I'm, on the air doing weather coverage or something. But if I can, I'll do my best to help you out, bud. I've been seeing some differences in the model soundings as well, Mickey points out. Yes. Remember, computer models are guidance, not gospel, right? So let's do this. Let me dial this up. Let me go from the GFS. We'll go to the HER model. The HER model is... Give me a few seconds to get this turned around. We'll do sounding. KMCO. All right. And that's going to be Wednesday at 5. No, it needs to be before that. Bear with me 2 seconds here. Tuesday at 9Z. 36. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, perfect. Okay, of course I'm going to have to go do weather here in a second. So we'll look at the atmospheric sounding. We'll look at the atmospheric sounding in just a couple of minutes. I need to get set up to do a TV hit. So we're going to have to go for a walk. But I'm just about set up with that. So I'll be able to show that to you after I do this weather hit. Where am I going, Luke? Where do I go?
You're at the
Key. All right, thank you, buddy.
Stand by. Right now, a lot of people trying to get on new flights after that strong winter weather has disrupted and given so many as of yesterday.
All right, bear with me, people. We'll get to the sounding here in a couple minutes.
Orlando International. So we have 9 delayed flights. 8 have been canceled altogether. Still looking good though with 169 on time. So be sure to check Okay, right now 8:18, we're going to talk about comfortable weather today, and we're even going to warm up to pretty nice territory by the afternoon.
Yeah, and Eric, we got to enjoy it today because tomorrow's a completely different story.
It really is, yeah. Today, kind of between weather makers, if you will. So plenty of clouds, but nice weather over at the Orlando International Airport and across all of Central Florida. It's 53 now in the city, 48 outside in Ocala, 51 in DeLand, and about 61 to 64 from Titusville to Melbourne. Our first warning, live Doppler radar showing a band of showers moving right through Marion County here from Fellowship and Anthony, kind of trying to work over towards Citra. And I'm even noticing it kind of extending all the way over. Let me get this map over here. All the way over here toward like Flagler and even Volusia counties, but we take you in and there's a little heavier band working right up to Anthony. So just a heads up, my friends. A little bit of shower activity, hit or miss today, 10-20% coverage. Temperatures this morning will rebound nicely, 66 by 11 o'clock, and we'll just stay put in the upper range of the 60s today, at least through the metro. Mid 60s to the north, lower 70s here into Brevard County, so a nice breeze, and there's Futurecast kind of showing a couple of those showers here or there through the afternoon. No big deal. Now, that said, storm system is forming as we speak and will be moving our direction tomorrow, and that is going to be the different scenario for us, okay? All the different weather ingredients coming together when it comes to severe weather. Thus, we are under either a level 2 in yellow or level 3 in orange risk for scattered to numerous strong to severe storms tomorrow afternoon. And given the winds upstairs and all those different ingredients, I think not only can we be talking about some strong winds, but damaging winds, 60, 70 mile per hour gusts, and even a few tornadoes, with the concern of the possibility of a strong tornado somewhere in Florida. So what about the timing of this? All right, we've been on Coffee Talk. Good morning to you all watching live. We've been talking on our social media channels about this from about 2 to 5 p.m. Our northern spots getting that line of storms moving in, 4 to 7 through the metro, and then 6 to 9 in our southern areas. Here's Futurecast. There's that intense activity working in, and it's going to come in like a lion. There's 4 p.m. working into the metro and then getting into Brevard by 6 o'clock. But what's nice is it will be a fairly short-lived, though very strong scenario. So for today, we're good. Tomorrow morning, we're good. It's tomorrow afternoon that we've got that severe weather threat. So for today, 20% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, high of about 69, nearly 80 degrees tomorrow. That fuels the severe weather come the afternoon. And then by Wednesday and Thursday, things are looking much quieter. Megan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Eric. I'm monitoring a major crash this morning in Brevard County along I-95. All the northbound lanes
All right.
just became shut down here just north of that Piney deposit.
Sorry for that, my friends.
This is where that crash is on the northbound side.
Oof. All right. So we were going to look at the soundings. All right. So let me get that dialed up while I'm... All right, perfect. All right, so here's the latest sounding data, if you will. This is going to be from the HRRR model, okay? The high resolution rapid refresh. This is one of the models that we use to kind of plot, and I'm going to move it over here to the side just so that you can kind of see more of the data there. Perfect. Okay, so right off the bat, we are definitely seeing that loaded gun type sounding, or that goalpost for more lay term, if you will. This is at 18Z tomorrow. All right, we continue to prime that atmosphere. This is going to be 19Z tomorrow. Yeah, I mean that goalpost it's getting there. Shear, directional shear, that wind just above our heads. Like this is like right as it gets going. Okay. So let's take a closer inspection. So skew-T, definitely have the moisture around, the dry air upstairs, the directional shear again, and you can use the hodograph to get that idea. But you know, the cheesiest way to look at it is the storm slinky. I love that they even call it that. The red is kind of closer to the surface. The green, the yellow, that is as the parcel of air or the weather balloon goes up with height. So there's that directional shear. And the one thing that I think is interesting is the SARS. So down here, you can't discount this data down here. Okay, so the SARS sounding analogs. This is kind of comparing the analog that we're running to weather scenarios that have happened before. And in this scenario, it's finding an analog or a historic case where we have had a sounding that looked like this, and it produced a significant tornado in the area. Okay, and then on the bottom right, you're looking at the effective layer STP. So basically, that's giving an idea, a computer scenario of what kind of a tornado you could look at. And what I think is so interesting here is that you're looking at the threat for, EF1, EF2, EF3 type tornadoes. So I think, given everything that I can see, I still think straight line winds are going to be the bigger concern with this weather picture, but we can't rule out that not only the chance of a tornado, but the chance of a significant spin up, a stronger tornado. Okay, and that's why the threat breakdown is what it is. Okay.
Hey, Luke.
So there you go.
Can you
Damaging
have that
winds,
pass me?
then tornadoes, and then hail and flooding rains. Not as big of a concern, all right? While I'm putting my next hit together, questions, comments, concerns? Let me get caught up on here. Ba, 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 ba. Level 3. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. I just love why. Thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that. Like a lion, not a wrecking ball. It could be a wrecking ball. Yeah. Let's see here. Hubby's flying back home from Barbados via Miami tomorrow night. Think he'll run into delays? Probably. Yeah, I would say so. As these storms are marching our direction, we're probably going to be backing up some flights. Yeah. I mean, we've got, at the very least, it's going to be a nasty line of storms moving through. Right? All right, let's see here. I watch clouds to see how quickly updrafts form. I mean, that's one way to do it. And tomorrow's clouds are definitely going to be screaming through quickly because the winds just upstairs are going to be running very, very quickly. So I would suspect that they're going to be moving, like 50, 60, 70 mile per hour winds at the 850 to 700 millibar level. Chrissy's asking what area is going to be impacted most. The problem is this is a line of storms. So I would say at the moment we pretty much have a pretty decent chance for all of us to get this significant line of storms moving through, right? Like there's 3 o'clock, and as that comes through, it's just going to kind of move through the entire area. You know?
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine, my dear. So that's, I would say that we all have a pretty decent chance for some nasty storms moving in tomorrow.
Yeah, I have another.
Right?
Okay.
All right, other questions, comments, concerns here. Yeah, it's not like we can get into what county is going to be impacted the most. I think that we're all going to have a pretty decent shot of being impacted by some nastier storms. So if the weather starts tomorrow, not today. I heard it was supposed to get bad today. No, showers today. That's it. We're looking at showers today. The severe threat is going to be tomorrow. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast just for illustration purposes. Get that to animate on, and yeah, there you go. There's the day tomorrow is highlighted in red, and it's done with purpose. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm late. Are we looking at the evening still? Yes, same exact thing. The timing hasn't changed. Now, I would add that the potential is there to see this have to speed up just a little bit. We may end up seeing this as earlier. The models are starting to hint at that, but at the moment, it's still an afternoon and evening kind of thing. Mickey's asking, do you think discrete supercells will form ahead of the line? I would say that if they do, that's going to be the more concerning element for it, for sure. Yeah. Susie's asking, just join us all day tomorrow. We're starting in the afternoon. It's going to be an afternoon thing. The morning to about midday is looking perfectly fine. Still an ivy bounce back between social media and live TV. Listen, I'm not as smooth as I'd like to be, but I'm human. All right, I'm going to do another TV hit, and I'll be with you in just 2 seconds.
You're going to be let off at 404, and you can take Wickham Road as a detour. I'll be monitoring this over on the CW. You can visit here in Brevard County. Eric, how's the weather to start our work week?
It's cloudy, but at least it's quiet. Temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. A few showers up around Marion and Flagler counties. Today, 20% coverage of rain, though tomorrow, first warning weather day, threat for strong to severe storms focused in the afternoon. All right.
We have highlights for you straight ahead on Sunrise.
Does it look bad for Southern Brevard, Tom? It's looking like it's going to be a rough afternoon and evening for all of Central Florida. It's not like we can really isolate one area or another. It's a big old line of storms. Ooh. Yeah, so it's not like it's focused, and it's the problem is that it's too early to see if we're going to focus anything more individually out ahead of the main line. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at, all right? Sorry, Susie, to see that. Sending love to you. Do you think discrete super... Oh, I already read your comment. All right, let's see here. Eric, just curious, since Tuesday already has been marked with a red triangle icon, how come all of today isn't marked with a yellow triangle icon as in a preparation day? Because the threat for severe weather is not there today, Brian. The threat for severe weather is tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow's the severe weather day. We don't need preparation. I mean, it's not like a hurricane. Strong storms. That's where we're at. Want to do a sounding for old Groundhog Day tornado. I lived in line for that, except it picked I mean, it's... I can, as soon as I do this next TV... Let me just get set up for my next TV hit, and then I can pull up a sounding for the Groundhog Day tornado event. But you're going to have that goalpost is going to be there. Anne-Marie thought I didn't wear a tie anymore. On weekends, if there's not severe weather, I can go without a tie. When there's severe weather or during the week, the tie has to come back out. It's, a whole new world, don't you dare close your eyes kind of thing. All right. Let's see here. Florida's closed tomorrow. Really got to go now. Be safe. I mean, it is what it is. We get storms in Florida. But as I mentioned, on the air, and I think that this is an important note, because somebody wrote, it's just going to be an afternoon storm. And it's like, well, it's going to be a little more than that. We don't get into a level 3 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms during the summertime. So there's a reason that we're discussing this with a little more, intent. It's because these are more intense storms. So, there's extra atmospheric energy and extra wind shear aloft. So when that plays in, you have to watch it closely. This happens during El Nino years. This is what happened in 1998 during that tornado outbreak, and this is what happened in 2007 during the Groundhog Day tornado outbreak. So when you get in an El Nino year and you have these storm systems coming in with that kind of atmospheric energy, you have to watch it closely. All right, hold on a second. Let me do this hit, and then we can go look at more sounding stuff if you want to get straight up nerdy.
This will be 8:30. The Florida legislative session begins tomorrow. How one bill that House and Senate might change the way we vote by mail. Plus,
Congress reaches a budget deal. Likely in Washington would find it may not be enough to avoid a government shutdown.
All right, we'll get all this works in just a moment. But first, we do want to start this half hour with the traffic forecast because it's nice right now, but it's not going to stay that way.
no, we are going to be ready for the potential of some severe weather here. Meteorologist Derek Brooks has a look at that. And right now, though, Eric, it's very pleasant.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. Temperatures are nice and cool, a little cooler than yesterday, and there's some darker skies here as we look out on our Tower Cam network. This is Daytona Beach looking off toward the Atlantic. Forecast today keeps mostly cloudy skies, and while we do have a few showers this morning, about a 10% coverage, I think we'll get a few additional in there, so we'll go to about a 20% coverage of rain. 67 our lunchtime temperature, 69 our high temperature on the day. Here's first warning, live Doppler radar. First batch of rain moving into northern Marion, Citra, Anthony, Reddick up to Micanopy, and eventually working up to Gainesville, and then all the way over on the East Coast. It's basically right on the Flagler and Volusia County border. Temperature-wise, it's 59 in Daytona Beach, 48 and had a little bit of rain earlier in Ocala, 50 in Leesburg, and there you go, 6 degrees cooler than yesterday. So for today, 60s to about 70 degrees, a nice breeze, but tomorrow turning gusty, already a wind advisory posted for parts of central Florida, but the big story will be the late day severe weather threat. Tomorrow, we're calling a first warning weather day. So let's time out the severe weather, let's look at the ingredients together when I see in just a couple of minutes time. Now it looks like some slowdowns on the roads. Megan.
Yeah, Eric is running out the door. I'm on the deadly crunch this morning. If you're heading out the door,
All right. So we were discussing sounding data. So let's look at that and compare that. I think that's, we did compare to the 98 tornado outbreak, but we can compare it as well to the Groundhog Day tornado outbreak. So let's just let me pull up the sounding data for. All right, so here's the sounding data. Give me a few seconds to get it like resized. Da, 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 da. All right, so this is the sounding data based off of the HRR, which HRR stands for the High Resolution Rapid Refresh, okay? And you kind of, if you notice on the top left, that's your skew T, okay? And that's it's kind of a bit of a goalpost scenario. Oh, you're gonna make me look. Groundhog Day. You guys are making me work this morning. Hold on a second. Groundhog Day 2007. That was February 2nd, 2007. All right. February 2nd, 2007. Give me a second. Give me a second. February 2nd, 2000. I'll have to bother you in a little bit. 2007, February 2nd. XMR. And skew T, XMR. Okay, it's loading. Stop. Previous. All right, here we go. Copy image address. Y'all are making me work. This is such bad TV. All right, there you go. This is, so this is, you can see bottom left corner, that's 0Z, February 2nd, 2007. So what you're noticing, okay, left black line dew point, right black line temperature. So moist, but then kind of, bowing at the top. But bottom right corner, kind of a southeasterly wind, veering to southwest with height. I'll also have you notice, okay, bottom wind barb, south. Second wind barb, that's what, 35 knots, 40 knots. Then we get to 1, 2, 3, that's 45 knots, okay? 45 knots as you get up, and then you get to about 50 knots or so, you get 50 knots halfway up the atmosphere. What I think is interesting here, okay, so this is where case studying isn't always a bad idea. Case study that with the wind profile we're looking at tomorrow. And this is kind of interesting. You're looking at greater wind shear just above our heads. That's kind of interesting. Hold on. Let me just dial this up here. All right, so we're looking at about 850, 900 millibars. We're looking at 50 knots of shear, or 50 knot winds, whereas that's what, that's like 900 millibars. At 900 millibars, they were at like 45. So it's negligibly different, but it goes to show that the winds just above our heads are going to look very similar to what they did back in 2007. So I know this is getting into the weeds, and half of you guys are probably just like, what is this? But kind of at least gives you an idea if you're in, nerding out. Yeah. All right. You have to do your job. I know, Taylor. I just don't want anybody to watch this and be like, man, this guy's terrible. He is. I am terrible, but I'm just trying. Oh man. All right. All right. Let's see here. So that's kind of, that's where the soundings are. It is kind of interesting to compare that, though. I wouldn't have thought to do that, but yeah. So again, there's the top left corner. There's your model, and I'll make it bigger too. Bear with me. This is why this isn't TV, so that I can really just be kind of raw with it. But there you go. So there's your skew T model data, and there's tomorrow. And they do look pretty similar, don't they? They definitely look pretty similar. Turning wind shear. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. All right, questions, comments, concerns. It is interesting, Anna. Even if it's like, and I'm not spending a ton of time, right, to look at it, but it goes to show you that El Nino is going to El Nino. That's where we're at. Yeah. Brian, I'm more concerned about the 298 scenario, which caught us by surprise. Well, you know what's so interesting, though, is like I just literally just seconds ago, as I'm talking to you guys, I see an email that came up that says, when is the world coming to an end tomorrow? Mr. Donovan, I'm not even going to respond to you because I'm just doing my job. You know, if I did not warn you, then you wouldn't know, and it would have caught people off guard, and that's not what we're trying to do. So, yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Don't be, it's okay to not be a fan of it, but, you know, don't be too worried about it. We'll watch it together. That's all. Does February look really bad with El Nino? February is going to be rough with an El Nino, yes. A lot of you asking how this is going to fit into the long-range forecast. It's going to be a part of it for sure. Yeah, we're definitely going to put it all together. Yeah. All right? All right, so if there's one thing you take away from this entire broadcast, we're going to have some storms tomorrow, and we're going to be okay, right? Oh, hold on, I got to put all the nerd stuff away. There we go. Central Florida's most accurate 7-day forecast showing tomorrow. First warning weather day. We'll be tracking the storms for you. One way or another, I'll either be here in the office if Kellyanne's still feeling under the weather, or I'll be home doing coffee talk. But either way, I'll be with you at 8 a.m. We'll be tracking storms. And then tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we'll be watching those storms push through as well. Lucas is asking, can you explain what El Nino is and the impacts? So essentially, El Nino is the... Let me pull up the graphics here. All right, so an El Nino pattern come wintertime basically sets up so that temperatures get to be pretty close to normal for us, but storm systems love pushing further south. It pushes the subtropical jet further south. It gives us a much more active weather pattern, gives us less stability, and thus we usually get more rain, and we usually get a heightened threat for tornadoes. What we're experiencing right now, these storm system after storm system after storm system, that is absolutely El Nino at play, 100%. All right? All right. I'll be tweeting through the day. I'll be posting as is needed, but for now, just stay weather aware tomorrow. All right? All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I'll talk to y'all later. Take care. Bye.